स्वयं रूपा गदा मह्यम ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकंठ नमस्ते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमामि विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। Krishna. What is the time for you? It is let me think. Okay, Kirti Mataji, for you it's 8:30 almost.
Yes,
Oh
Mataji.
my God. In the night. It's that horrible. Okay. So we are reading from this chapter, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. And let's pay our obeisances to Shri Radha Govinda before we proceed. We did the first five verses. Let's try to finish a few more. In the first 5 verses, Krishna is describing this material world as a upside down banyan tree. And then the complexities of the banyan tree are described. There are various places in Srimad Bhagavatam where here he is describing it as banyan tree. And of course, we discussed in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes this material world as what all other things. In Krishna, there's a chapter called Forest of Enjoyment. I don't know if you have read that chapter. In 5th canto, 14th chapter, Forest of Enjoyment, where Krishna describes the material world as a forest which is filled with enjoyment, but there are too many dangers there. So the thing is that nowhere in the Shastras is this place described as very nice. Like, you know how in Vaikuntha Lok or Goloka Vrindavan, the description is that the place is very nice. Like in this chapter also, we'll study that how that place is. But nowhere it is described that material world is a very nice place. Basically, it is described as a dark. You need sun and moon here. People who live here are meant to die. You know, there's disease, old age, birth, everything is so painful. And then here we'll study today, Prakriti Sthani Karshati, everyone is struggling. So it is very interesting. While we read these verses and we discuss this today, I want to request all of you to please meditate on, despite of hearing from the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, who actually made this place, despite of reading the commentaries of the acharyas, despite of discussing amongst us, what is so difficult to get out? What's so binding? What does it make us like, okay, yeah, it is like that, but let me adjust. You know, or the other thing is, Navanishra Prabhu says, like, we look around and say, yeah, it may be bad for some, but it's not so bad for me. Like, I have, I'm okay. I have house, I have children, I have health, I'm okay, I have money, like something we find. Okay. The bottom line is something we find to hold on to. And even though we are reading about going to Krishna, we don't get really attracted. So meditate on these verses as we go through today as to what is it that's binding for us, like personally and collectively. Because we are all like that. And sometimes we take spirituality as a pretext to bind to the material world. You know, how do we take spirituality as a pretext to bind to keep bound to the material world? That, okay, I am an agent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and I'm supposed to spread Krishna consciousness movement, so I'll stay here. You see, that good? That's good. That's better than any other choice. But the thing is, what is that verse in Bhagavatam? Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo. Yasmin prati shloke abhaddavadapi. Namani anantasya yashwantakani yes. Shrinvanti gayanti grihanti sadhava. So the meaning of the Shastras, the meaning of the Acharyas, the meaning of the of Srimad Bhagavatam can only be revealed to somebody who is sadhava, thoroughly honest. And that's what this is, thoroughly honest. So if we are not able to become fearless and thoroughly honest after reading Krishna's words, discussing, understanding, applying, then what are we reading? I gave this example that my friend gives of different kind of people sitting on the sea beach. Did I give that example? Krishna, Amrika Mataji, Shiva Srinivas Prabhu, Lineage Prabhu.
No, Mataji.
We had another class then. So she explains, you see, when you go to a sea beach, you see different kind of people. Okay, some people never go touch the water; they just sit on the sea beach. Now, some people go just dip their feet enough in the water. Don't go too far, get drowned. Or maybe they'll even swim at the surface level. They won't like go really deep. Some people really go deep in the sea and swim. है ना? So like that, we are approaching Krishna consciousness like that. Like some people just say, okay, dur se hi theek hai. It's good from far away. It's good for them, but I'll stay like this. Okay. Some people go and touch Krishna consciousness just barely. Okay. Food is good. Okay. Deities are very beautiful. Okay, Bhagavad Gita, very nice. You guys are very pious, but thank you. This much is enough for me. I had a friend in college. I used to try to preach her, and she would say, in this life, I can only do this much. Then I said, in what life you'll take up more? She used to say, maybe some other life, not this life. So, anyway, I don't know what she's doing now, but are some people like go swim deep, as Nectar of Devotion describes our acharyas as residents of the deep ocean, the deep in the sea of Krishna consciousness. So after understanding this, because the name of the chapter is the Yoga of the Supreme Person, understand that where my individual position is. Okay, so we studied the description of the banyan tree and how complex it is to understand. And Krishna is saying, don't try to understand. I think somebody asked, maybe it was Nikhil Prabhu, who says, I don't understand that how this banyan tree is described. Krishna really empathized with you and says, no one actually can understand. No one can understand. It's fine if you don't understand, but just hear it out that where it begins, where its foundation is, where it ends, cannot understand. But what can you do? Cut it with determination. And we discussed a bit about attachment, I think, right?
Yes.
So today we'll try to finish at least these 5 verses that you cut it with detachment. Then where do you go? Do you fly in the air, or where is the next landing? If you take off from this airport of material world, which is the next destination? So Krishna talks about transmigration of the soul. He is not finished. He's not finished explaining about jumping from one branch to another branch to another branch. So talk a little bit. And then he talks about like where does the living entity go after it takes off from this world. न तद् भाष्यते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यत् गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. That abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. So, we have to live in this world which is dark because we need electricity. All of us have lights on, except people sitting in India, if they have sunlight on the back. I can see darkness behind Nikhil Prabhu is his window, right? So the thing is that because it is like that everywhere, if Kirti Mataji is sitting in Australia, he's sitting in Canada. Ambika Mataji, Linit Prabhu, Shiva Srinivas Prabhu is sitting in India. I'm sitting in America. Everywhere is dark, or somewhere we need the sun. Okay, so it validates. You don't have to actually say, okay, maybe it is true for this part and maybe it is not true for the other part. Yeah, Prabhupada explains. Okay, so I heard Prabhupada lectures. Prabhupada said you to understand the Shastras the way it is explained, not the way we want to understand. He said, for example, my head. I'm sorry. So he said there was this child who was taught by the teacher, my head. So, my head. So the teacher asked the student after teaching, now tell me where is my head? So the student came and put his hand on the head of the teacher. Says my head. I said, no, but I'm talking about your head. I said, no, you didn't say your head. You taught my head. So my head is your head. So basically, what he's saying is that don't try to understand that the material world that okay, it's dark, but it is dark here, but in India it is not dark. It is sun there. No, it is dark everywhere. We need sun everywhere because this material world is dark because Krishna is saying it. But the spiritual world is not like that. Everybody is self-illuminated. We studied this in Krishna, in Krishna book, right? When the gopis are complaining to Mother Yashoda about Krishna stealing the butter, and Mother Yashoda is giving them suggestions that how they can save their produce. She's telling them that you must hide your produce, the dairy, in a dark room on a height. Huh? And then what are the gopis saying? We do that. We already do that. But your boy is so self-effulgent, plus the jewelry that you put on him is so luminous that he lights up the whole place. We do that. So we hear that even in Srimad Bhagavatam, that we reach there and then we never return. I think I discussed this. So when Krishna says it never returns, I asked my spiritual master that there is an independence, right? There is a little bit of a free will to desire. So if I desired once to come, why can't I desire the second time? Krishna is saying no, never returns, but he doesn't take away the independence or the free will. So how is it possible that I will not desire another time? So what is, I think we discussed it. So what is the answer? Never returns.
Mataji, it's because we've already been a part of this material world. We already know what these sufferings are. So because we've already tasted how the poison is, we're not going to go and try and want it again.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice. So my spiritual master said, Venkishori, if you're frying puris in the kitchen and the hot oil spills on your hand, subconsciously, what will you do? I said, oh, it will be so painful, good man. So I said, okay, so when next time when you fry, will you be more careful? I said, of course. I don't want to get burnt again. I'll be careful. He said, yes, so you may again have a desire. Okay, the desire might come that I want to go to the material world. But because of the experience, because they've already been burnt out, you will think my spirit material world, oh my god, I don't want to go there. This is how he explained me that then you'll not come back. That's why Krishna says it very firmly that never returns. Okay, and
See,
Prabhupada,
so
uh-huh.
so that means that we will remember all the lifetimes, Mataji, what we spent here on earth.
No, I don't know about that, but we'll definitely remember the pain that we had, the painful experiences. That we'll remember. All the lifetimes. Oh my God, that will be so painful. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And he just said that once you get burnt out, because the person who will go back to Krishna have already tasted the taste, right? It's not that foreign. Says, okay, no, this is better. That's how he told me as it is. I don't know if we'll remember all the lifetimes or not. I don't know. But he also said that we don't even have to go to Goloka Vrindavan for not desiring to come back to earth, because the demigods are talking amongst themselves about human beings and how wretched they are. their bodies smell. So much description is there. They're growing gray hair, they grow old, they have different coarse features. You know, the demigods themselves are even like criticizing the people on earth. Oh my God, people on earth like that. So there is enough information to keep us away. So that's why when Krishna says never returns, believe it. We will never return. But Prabhupada emphasizes, and I do want you to, make points when you read, that one must be captivated by this information, that there is a place like that where we can go and we can be taken care of. We discussed that in Srimad Bhagavatam class, right? Gita Mataji, were you there? Rasayana, when I was yesterday's class?
No, Mataji, I wasn't there
Your
yesterday
morning in
and today.
India. We discussed that in Bhagavatam class, we're in 5th canto, 19th chapter, where Sukdev Goswami is now introducing Narnarayan Rishi. Where says Narnarayan Rishi appeared because of he wanted to teach the principle of austerity to the human being. Okay, then we discussed that austerity is in the mode of goodness. And whatever is in the mode of goodness, austerity that leads us to self-realization is going to be difficult because we are used to the activities in mode of passion and ignorance. Hana? So it is not going to be easy. Krishna consciousness is simple but not easy. So the thing is that the austerity will be difficult, but if we entail it, then what is waiting at the end? So I heard the lecture by Swami Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj where he was explaining that when we do the austerities, it's like Ayurvedic treatment where the body gets detoxified after intense therapy in Ayurveda. Yes, it does get detoxified, but then we also grow weak. So what happens that at the end of the treatment, they give the drink to the person who went under the treatment and to rejuvenate the energy. And that drink is called as Rasayana. So there's a book called Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where the last chapter by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, but last chapter of that book is called Rasayana. So Rasayana, the closest English word is elixir. So in that, what happens is that there are pastimes, intimate pastimes of different living entities with Krishna as described. So you go through these austerity in the material world, really get drained out, really get tired. But at the end, you get this Rasayana. Okay, I'll just describe one pastime, okay? So, one pastime is that Krishna is emerald blue in color. Okay, and Radharani's color is golden yellow. And they both are dancing. And when they're dancing, this emerald blue color, and the peacocks are watching. So when they're watching it, emerald blue color and this golden yellow color mixes and produces the green color. So the whole sky is lit up with this green color, and the peacocks also like take up that color. And the dance is so beautiful between Radha and Krishna, and then the peacocks start dancing, and then they absorb the color. So what is the color of the peacock? Emerald blue, green, and yellow. Right? So it's like every living entity is offering the service, how they get absorbed in that. So that's waiting for us. So one must be captivated by that information, and one must be motivated to associate with the devotees in Krishna consciousness to learn and gain more information, and learn how to develop detachment and attachment at the same time. Okay, so one never returns. So understand different aspects in this verse, that how one never returns, and then also what is the use of getting this information. Then characteristics of the Lord's supreme abode are described. That Dhamma Paramam Mama, that abode is not illuminated by sun, moon, fire, electricity. Once attained, one never returns to this material world. This is a very important verse. Mam evancha jiva loke. You have to memorize this verse. You know that, right? Jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Mana Shashta Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with 6 senses, which include the mind. Okay, I'm going to read the list with the names, and all of you are going to give me some description of this verse. I'm just going to read down, okay, whatever is coming on my list. Kirti Mataji, your name is first, probably because you're co-host. Please explain this verse. Mam eva ancha jiva loke jiva bhuta. Little bit, 1 minute.
Mataji, in simple terms, Krishna is saying that we're all parts and parcels of him, but unfortunately, we are binded by the material nature, the 3 modes of nature, and the 6 the senses. So that is the reason we are unable to, we are struggling here and unable to understand him or get out of here. That's my understanding, Mataji.
Thank you. Nikhil Prabhu, what can you add on?
Our current position is Mataji, like we are struggling hard. This is our current position because of the mind and the senses. But our original position is that we belong to Krishna. Yes, we have to work to go back to him.
Okay. End the struggle. Okay. Ambika Mataji, what can you add on?
Actually, the same, Mataji. When we had to get out of this material world and go back home to Krishna, and there we can serve him in either of the 5 rasas that we want.
Okay.
In this material world, it is very difficult.
Okay. Thank you. Linit Prabhu.
Mataji, because of material conditioning, and the 3 modes that influence the soul when it enters the material world. And what Krishna is saying in this verse is that because we are constantly in touch with the material world, with the 5 senses and the mind, we are entangled, due to which we are always we create this attachment with the material world, and we forget our eternal position as part and parcels of Krishna.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. Shiva Srinivas Prabhuji.
Yeah, despite of being fragmental parts of Krishna, the senses are binding us so strong that we forget that our true nature and get entangled by the senses and still hankering on, like by the senses, still hankering on, not understanding clearly, like I'm part and parcel of Krishna, but still it is covering the true nature of the self.
Very nice. Thank you. Yeah, so you see, Mam Eva Ansha Jiva Loke. So the characteristics, Prabhupada opens the purport by saying that the identity of the living entity is clearly defined here. Okay, so Krishna is claiming, after describing this material world as upside down banyan tree, after describing the complexities of the upside down banyan tree, after describing different parts of the banyan tree and how the living entity is conditioned in the banyan tree, after giving a brief description of where the living entity can actually be and where it is right now, he is declaring that why I'm giving this information is because you're mine. You're lost right now. You're kidnapped. So to come back home. See, Mam Eva Ansha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. So living entities, Mam means mine, Eva Ansha means my Ansha. Ansha means part. Who is the part of Krishna? Jiva. Which Jiva? Who is situated in this world? So in this, Loke means this material world. Jiva means the living entity. So this living entity in this conditioned world is my part and parcel. But actually, this Jiva, Bhuta. So Bhuta means it is not supposed to be conditioned. When is it not supposed to be conditioned? Sanatana, always. They're my part and parcel always. So Prabhupada explained in the purport that when Krishna says that they're my fragmental part, doesn't mean that when the fragment is broken down, a thing is broken down into fragments, then Krishna is not there anymore. You see, like Mayavadi philosophers say that you take a paper, you cut it, then the original paper is lost. है ना? Is that Krishna has now distributed himself into different living entities. Now original Krishna is lost. No. Or the other way is that the living entity assumes a form in this material world, but then becomes formless in Brahmajyoti. That's also wrong. So because Krishna is clearly saying Sanatanaha, eternally. It is eternally true that the living entity is my part and parcel. That then what's happening right now? Because Manaha, Shashta, Indriyani. So Manaha, mind, Indriyani is 5 senses. So that including the mind becomes 6. 5 senses and a mind. Prakriti sthani karshati is struggling. Karshati is struggle. Na? Why is it struggling? Because with its mind and 5 senses, the living entity has situated itself in this material world. Sthani means situated. Prakriti means material modes of nature, this material nature. So with the senses and the mind, the living entity has situated itself in this material world or Prakriti, and it is struggling. What it means actually is that if we don't situate ourselves in this material world and choose to situate ourselves in the spiritual world or spiritual nature, then we are not struggling and no karshati. Okay, so I really like this is Prakriti Sthani Karshati. The struggle is this is a decode. Like we ask now, why me? Why so much problems? Because Prakriti Sthani Karshati, the more we situate ourselves in the 3 modes of material nature, the more we will struggle. Okay, is the more we try to stay here in different ways, the more the struggle will be. It will be more intensified. And Shri Prabhupada explains the meaning of the word karshati in the last sentence of the next verse. What is it? Nikhil Prabhu, you're nodding your head now. Tell me, what is it?
The word karshati, struggling, is very significant. I was reading through the purport here. The conditional soul is bound up as though shackled by iron chains. He is bound up by the false ego, and the mind is the chief agent which is driving him to this material existence. When the mind is in the mode of goodness, his activities are good. When the mind is in the mode of passion, his activities are troublesome. And when the mind is in the mode of ignorance, he travels in the lower species of life. It is clear in this, however, in this verse that the conditioned soul is covered by material body with the mind and the senses. And when he is liberated, this material covering perishes, but his spiritual body manifests itself in its individual capacity.
Yep, thank you. So if you read the last sentence of the 8th verse, the Prabhupada explains this process of transmigration from one body to another and struggling while in the body is called karshati, or struggle for existence. Okay, so what is karshati? Is staying in this body and also leaving this body and going to another body. Transmigration, both are struggle. So actually the acharyas and the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself are very, very empathic to us. What is the difference between empathy and sympathy? Now, don't Google, okay? What is the difference between empathy and sympathy? If you don't know, it's okay, but do you know? Empathy and sympathy.
Mataji, sympathy is when you look at another person's position and you just feel bad for them, or you feel something for them. But empathy is when we put ourselves in the other person's shoes and then experience what they're experiencing, and that time we help them. Yeah, Mataji. Basically, we put ourselves in their shoes and try to experience what they're experiencing. That's empathy. Sympathy is where we're just connecting with them on a very superficial level.
Yeah, okay, very nice. It's a nice description. So the description of empathy and sympathy is in 10th canto. Okay, Krishna has been very empathetic. So how in 10th canto in Damodar Leela, in Manigriva and Nalakuve's pastime, when Narad Muni is gonna curse Nalakuve and Manigriva, he thinks before cursing, because he's not cursing out of anger or frustration. Okay. And he thinks that, okay, I might just curse them and then they'll just stand blankly as trees for thousands and thousands of years. Or let me actually give them some instructions and then give them the curse. So when they are standing as trees, let them think about what I told them. So he chooses to do the latter. So not when he gives instructions to Nalukvir and Manigri before he actually gives the curse. And there are many instructions given, 3 main instructions, but one of the most important instruction he gives is the glorification of poverty. Okay, he's glorifying poverty, and he's saying that your wealth, like actually the wealth of your father blinded you. And then he's saying that actually the person who can actually relish or value the wealth, the person who was pricked by the poverty. So one who was pricked by the poverty and then they become very wealthy later in life, then they don't want to inflict the same pain that they suffered when they were poor to anyone else. But person who never faced that pain will not be able to relish. Like you too never faced anything. So you don't value what you have. So that is why poverty is a good cure for you. Right? Like that. Why did I bring this up? That Krishna is being very empathetic. He is saying that, your condition is really bad. It's really bad. So you don't have to stay in this condition. We think that the person who is in obvious trouble, their condition is bad. Right? That is why there are so many talks I can bring out this. In the medical world, there is a talk about merciful killing, right? If somebody is suffering so much, give them palliative care and let them embrace death, because that's better. It actually happens, okay? It's not like a theory. Ambika Mataji will know that, right? I don't
Yes,
know
Mataji.
in India it is there, but I have seen it in here.
In
that
India, it is not legal, Mataji.
It's not legal here as well, but in the name of palliative care, you just, let them go because you know that staying is so hard. So we think that that person is suffering, but I'm okay. I can go to a restaurant, I can go shopping, I can just, get up and go around. So we try to become empathetic at that level. But Krishna is saying, no, a condition for both of you is sorry. You both are in a very bad place. Just because you don't have an experience of something higher, you're thinking that you're okay. Much like Nalakwe and Vanigiri never actually lived a poverty-stricken life, so they really didn't know what is the pain of a poverty, unless and until they became poverty-stricken and immovable by Narad. So when Krishna is saying we are struggling very hard with 6 senses, which include the mind, we need to understand that what is the struggle. And Prabhupada explains the struggle is to stay in this body and then leave this body and go to another body. Okay, so what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Struggling with the 6 senses. If this verse, if we can understand and we can understand the, what do you say, zest of the verse, we can apply this every moment of our life. That's why I'm spending time. So the struggle is that if I'm not utilizing the senses and the mind for self-realization, then I'm going to be struggling. But if I actually dovetail the senses and mind to worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or towards a process of austerity, to the process of self-realization by virtue of austerity, then I'm not struggling. You see, it's not that, okay, I'm struggling because I'm struggling because I'm poor. I'm struggling because I don't have health. I'm struggling because I am growing old. I'm struggling because whatever, what can you name why people struggle? Is that I'm struggling because I didn't get good meal. I'm struggling because the promotion was not given. I'm struggling because somebody disrespected me. I'm struggling because the business was not doing well. I'm struggling because the new president is not good. You see, this is we externalize our struggles. है ना? If you ask why you're struggling, what's making your life so hard? Oh, because of this person, that position, this thing happened or that thing happened, this thing happened. We can watch our speech, okay? Just because we are reading Bhagavad Gita and trying to understand this, we can watch our speech and we can watch our mind where it's going. But what is Krishna saying? Why are you struggling, or why are we struggling? What is he saying? Hare, what is he saying?
No, that's just because of material conditioning that we are struggling, is what Krishna is saying.
Because of this conditioned life.
Yeah, because he's saying because of our own senses, which includes the mind. So the struggle is because I have my own senses and the uncontrolled mind. So it's not because of someone else or something else or some place or something. It is actually go inside. So material life means looking for validation outside. Krishna consciousness means look for the problems inside. So it actually saves a lot of our energy, isn't it? Like it saves a lot of our time. And it gives us a lot of wisdom that I am actually responsible for what I am, wherever I am right now in my life. So it is very, very important to understand that if I have to progress in Krishna consciousness, I have to work on my own self. With that, of course, we need help. It's not that I isolate myself and put myself in the Himalayas. But if I'm not able to work in Krishna consciousness and go ahead, it is not because this Prabhuji was selfish or this Mataji scolded me or this guru is this or this person is this or Hare Krishna is this. It's because my own senses are uncontrolled. Because my own mind is not letting me remove the anchor from this world and flow with the flow. Okay, so understand that the problem is inside and not the outside. Why? Because I have situated myself in this material condition. So what can you do? The solution is detach. How? By the process. It's a process. I was talking about it in the morning class that let's say you go to a kitchen. A kitchen is considered to be a lab, right? In a household, it's a lab of experiments. So it says, okay, I want to eat dal chawal. So why don't you take some grains of dal and some grains of chawal, rice, and mix and say, okay, mix it in a bowl and then start eating it. Dal chawal. That's a dal chawal, right? Why are we not doing that? Oh my God, such a high philosophy.
Mataji, because we can't eat uncooked food.
So what is the so
We
there's a
want to
process.
satisfy our sense of taste. We want it to be tasty.
We need nurturing, we need nourishing. You're very hard, You're very hard. So okay. So because there is a process of cooking that one needs to do to be able to extract the nutrition from the rice and dal. If you eat rice and dal raw, it will cause pain in the stomach. It will not give nutrition. So there is a process by which, from its raw stage to cooked stage, it gives this nutritional value. Right? The horse will not eat cooked dal and rice because it has an ability to extract it in the raw state. So there are entities who can do that, but we can't. What I'm trying to say by giving that example is how can I not struggle and make these senses and mind amenable to the process of self-realization is if I follow the process. In the raw state, in conditioned life, they're not. They're not able to do it. And I cannot speculate the process. You cannot speculate. Have you heard of that story as a child, Birbal ne khichdi? There was a Akbar Birbal. Do you guys used to read the stories? Akbar Birbal, and one time Birbal made a khichdi. Yes or no? Oh my
Yes,
God.
Mataji. I think he was given a punishment that the khichdi was in very high and the fire was very below. That story
Yeah.
you're referring to.
Yeah. So Birbal ne khichdi pakai. So Birbal cooked the khichdi. What happened was, very briefly, that the king had put this challenge to the kingdom that anyone who can stay half dipped in the river all night in the cold weather will be given a sizable amount of prize or wealth. So one person stood all night long in the water, half in the water, and then he came to claim his prize. And Akbar was very, surprised at how is it possible. So one of the ministers of Akbar gave him the understanding that where he was standing, there was a bulb at a little distance, and bulb is hot, no? So when he was looking at the bulb, he was able to absorb that heat. So his body was heated up with that bulb's light. So he was able to stand in the water all night long. So Birbal invited Akbar for lunch, hearing all this. And then Akbar, Birbal was cooking khichdi. So he hanged the pot from the top branch of the tree and he lit the fire at the bottom. So Akbar came for the lunch and he asked, where is the food? Said, food is getting cooked. Where? Okay, he saw that there was this fire at the bottom and the pot was at such a big distance hanging on the tree. And Akbar was like, Birbal, what are you doing? Huh? It's not gonna heat up, it's not gonna cook. It will stay in the raw state no matter what you do. Birbal said, are you sure? Because you did not give prize to that person because his body was heated up from the light of the bulb far away from the river. So why this cannot cook the food? So what is the verdict? The verdict is that, why did I give this example? We cannot speculate the process. Okay, we cannot like speculate that, okay, I'm gonna make myself I'm gonna extricate myself from this material existence by pranayam or by like going to the cave in Himalayas or by doing goat yoga or beer yoga or chair yoga, right? Or what are the other processes? Or by, oh my God, once we had these people in Gitanagri by doing some dancing on the fire or some, we cannot because this khichdi will not cook. So when Krishna says you're struggling, accept it. Say, Krishna, I am struggling. It is true. And he says, okay, then don't struggle, adopt this process. Then yes, I will do that process. Don't try to do something else. Okay. Very nice verse. Prabhupada gives a very long purport. So understand that Prakriti sthani karshiti. As long as I'm situating myself in the Prakriti, the three modes of material nature, I will be struggling. Okay, so next time we face a problem, which we face a problem every day, sometimes the stomach is hurting, the head is hurting, the weight is going up or going down. My son has a problem that his weight is not increasing. I have a problem, it is not decreasing. So you see, we all have these problems. Understand that we are doing activities in the modes of nature which are not amiable in our Krishna consciousness. So we face these problems. So what is the identity of the living entity? Eternal parts and parcel of Krishna. They belong to Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. Current position, struggling hard with mind and senses in the material world. So how is this living entity struggling? Krishna is going to give us some glimpses. Shariram yad avapnoti yacha api utkarmeshvaraha grihit vetani samyati vayur gandhani vashayat. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. What does it mean? It's a struggle, huh? Carries its conception from one body to another as the air carries aroma. So takes on one body, gives up that body, and then takes out another body. What does it mean when it says conception carries its different conceptions?
Radhaji, the unsatisfied desires that the soul has in one body, it carries on to the next body.
Okay, very nice. You see, Krishna explains this in 8th chapter Bhagavad Gita that whatever mode we die in, that next body we achieve, right? Whatever we are thinking at the time of death or So that is we make a conception of our life according to the mode we associate with in this particular life. If I am associating myself with the mode of goodness, my conception is more of knowledge and higher thinking. So I go to the heavenly planets. If it is in the mode of passion, the conception is that I'm the body and I have to, take care of the body. I need every comfort for the body. That's passion, then stay here. But if the conception is in the lower modes, killing animals, eating meat, intoxication, sleeping excessively, then become an animal. So that's a concept we are making for our own self. Krishna is actually giving us the authority to decide. A very powerful statement. And he's giving example of the air carrying the aroma, which is a very appropriate example. Let's say you're sitting in a garden and the air passes through your nose and it has a fragrance of roses. So you immediately understand that this air is coming from after touching the roses somewhere around me. Now, but if you're sitting again in a park on a bench and the air which is passing by your nose has the smell of garbage. So you know that this air is passing through a place where there was collection of garbage, even without looking here and there, right? It's not that the air is garbage or air is roses. It's just carrying this. Like that, we can separate, we carry the concept of a mode of nature, but that is so powerful that it gives us another material body. And it happens again and again and again. Again, this is like staying in this. So that means we are cultivating the concept right now. And we have to watch ourselves. And if we don't watch ourselves and we become, what is it called? And some people like to be called as happy-go-lucky. Have you seen those people? Oh, I'm a happy-go-lucky person. Yeah. So Krishna is saying, you can be happy-go-lucky because then you will become unlucky and unhappy very soon if you live like that. The serious, there is a need for living. We can be happy-go-lucky if the life is aligned by the principles of Krishna consciousness. If not, then there's a struggle. It's a struggle. Karshati. Okay, so 1 second. So process of transmigration is explained. Living entity acquires material mind, carries different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air is carrying the aroma. Okay, so understand that how is it possible? Because we are associating ourselves with different conceptions. It's a concept, it's not a reality. It's a concept that, okay, I'm like this. You know, when you write a story, fiction writing, the rules, they write a concept. And the broader concept is that there is going to be, for example, tell me the name of some famous fiction novels.
Or J.K. Rowling.
Oh, I don't know Harry Potter. I don't know. I don't. The thing is, whether it is famous. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that creative writing, there are rules, okay? That you
Mataji, Lord of Rings and something like that.
Okay, okay. So I have maybe I'm old school. I was thinking about
Kalidas.
Kalidas. And yeah, that's good. That's good. I have not read it. I have not read that. That's good. So something like The Tale of Two Cities, or would read as children. So for example, there's a
Leo
concept.
Tolstoy and all.
Yeah. So the basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say that what is this meaning when Krishna says concept of life? So when we are going to write a story or a fiction writing or creative writing, the author basically creates a concept that the concept is that this is going to rotate around the story of a person going from one place to another place and looking at the difference of two cities and how the life is different everywhere. Okay, and then based on that, the characters are chosen. Based on that, the protagonist, the main character is chosen. Based on that, the activities are defined, right? The roles are defined. Like that, we choose a concept. Then I am the body. Huh? And then based on that concept that I have, that I am the body, I I write my narration. And then in that narration that I'm writing, I bring these characters. Me being a protagonist, huh? We never have anyone else as a lead role in our life. We can say, but actually it's not there. So I'm the lead role. Okay, so because the concept is I'm the body. So the other roles that come to validate that concept is like, okay, now because I'm the body, I need a family. I need children. I need work. I need money. I need property. I need airplane to travel. I need passport, visa, green card, or I don't know what is in Kannada. What is it called as? Green card is called as what? Green card?
PR card.
Permanent resident card, huh? Or I need whatever. So I need. There's a concept, huh? So Krishna is saying we carry this concept because we have now put our life like this in this particular design. It's not, don't think that at the end of life you just die and then this is over. Because it's very deeply ingrained in the subconscious mind. And then we start again. Am I boring you all? Is it
No.
boring? This is the meaning of that when Krishna says, understand. Now, what is this concept? He's saying that Prabhupada is translating this verse. Sorry. Sorry. I'm trying to bring up this. That the living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another. So what is a conception or what is a concept? It's a narrative that we are telling. Okay, now if you read the modern psychology, okay, they say that we can change the narrative that we are living our life by. We don't have to get dragged by our life. We can actually change the narrative. But the problem is that they change the narrative in the x-axis and y-axis. I told that, no? If you are saying yourself, let's say in addiction, if somebody is addicted to intoxicant, obviously we are all addicted to something. This world is intoxicated, but somebody is obviously addicted to, let's say, alcohol. So then they don't have to stick in that. The psychologists say if the person is trying to become sober consciously, they don't have to remain stuck to it. They can change the concept that I am actually going to work on myself and seek all the support and come out of this. I can come out of this. I can come out of this. I can come out of it. But the problem is कि वो हमको x-axis और y-axis में ही रखते हैं. You can leave the intoxication, addiction, but the struggle is not going to end. Or the charity. This is my favorite example. People give charity. Let's say they feed poor people. Okay. Somebody has a wedding in their house and they go and feed the poor people for that day. So their concept is that they're very charitably disposed. But does it really solve the problem of the poor person who's fed one day of the year with very nice food? Another time he's hungry. So we can change the concept. So Prabhupada said, feed them every day with Krishna Prasadam. So he actually rewrote that narrative, right? In that concept. So modern psychology, yes, there is some help. It can help us to see that we are actually living a story and we can change the story. But the problem is it doesn't uplift us enough to solve all our problems. It tells us to adjust to the problems. Or it tells us to look at the problems in a different manner, but it doesn't get rid of the problems. But Krishna is saying that you can get rid of the problem. This is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, that you can get rid of the problem. How? By actually attaching yourself in a different realm. So go to the z-axis. Don't stay in x-axis or y-axis. Go to the z-axis. which is not 100% spiritual right now. My friend told me this. She said she realized that in the material world, we are only hopping in x-axis or y-axis. She said, let's say that I was uneducated, now I become educated. So from x-axis, y-axis, lower level, higher level. Okay, I was living in a village, now I live in a very posh $1 million house in America. X-axis, y-axis, huh? Okay, I was riding bicycle, now I'm riding BMW. So x-axis or y-axis. So basically in our life, we are just hopping from x-axis, y-axis, x-axis, this place, that place, this place, that place. But Krishna consciousness actually makes us leave this axis. That's what she said. But Chaitanya Chaitamrita goes more deep and talks about Turiya, the fourth axis. Krishna is in the fourth dimension. At least come to mode of goodness and come to a third axis. Okay, I think I'll finish quickly. So the living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, tongue, and nose and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. So mind is in the center, and based on that, we get different kinds of senses to execute our unfulfilled desires in this new life. My friend Chiti Shakti, she's a psychiatrist, right? She says we can see this. I said, how? How can we see this? I can't see my mind. She said, you can see it when you see somebody aging. You look at the photographs, okay? She said, look at the photographs, how they're aging. When they're young, the mind is innocent. When they're older, if they're becoming shrewd, you will see their features changing. You will see the features changing. But if somebody is living a very satisfied life, then you will see their features changing as well. I thought, oh my God, you're a genius. Yeah, is it not true? I'm telling you what my friend told me. That look at the photograph. Maybe we can look at our own photographs and see how have I aged all these years based on the concept of my mind. What kind of thoughts I've been harboring, my features are changing, because people who are like very shrewd, their feature will be like this, right? Like you like or people who are very satisfied and very happy, they're like very calm and quiet. You see, you'll see how they age, how we age based on the conception of our mind. Okay, so now today do this experiment. Now bring all your photographs and look at how we have changed. So Krishna is saying it is grouped around the mind and what kind of senses and sense objects we have been enjoying. Right? When somebody comes to Krishna consciousness, they become very effulgent. They look very, they actually look very beautiful. You go and live with devotees in Mangalore. Whenever I go and I live with them every year, I feel like they become more and more magnificent, like more and more, I don't know what to say, like nourishing. The skin shines. Namanishra Prabhu's skin is like so shiny. I mean, of course, he's my teacher, but it's so, I mean, it looks like, oh my God, it's like, this is a person you want to be with, because it's like so satisfied in their own heart and they can give you the satisfaction just like that. You know, like if you go to Nikhil Prabhu, he'll give you laddus just like that. This is now Nishra who gives you satisfaction. Just you look at them and says, you have to go there, okay, to see what I'm saying. But you sit around somebody who's always complaining, always finding fault, always saying, the salt was less in the dal, the house was less heated, the clothes were not washed properly, this person came and said this. I'm sure we have met people like this, or we are like that somewhere, right? You don't want to be with them. So their mind is situated in that particular concept. So their features are going to be like that. So the secret to beauty is purify the mind. Okay, I'm sorry I'm taking such a long class. Utkramantam sitam vapi bhunjanam vagunanvitam vimudananupasyenti pasyenti jnanachakshushaha The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. Okay, this is Naminesh Prabhu's slide. So he says that, if the car breaks down and I don't know what to do with the car, then I look like this. But if I call somebody who knows what to do, then see how sure they look. Like that, we may try to understand, no, this life is hard. Oh, the government rules are strict. Oh, so many people are getting deported. Oh, I'm not saying there's not a problem. Those are problems. I'm not denying it. But the thing is, we're not able to see. We're trying to see, which he actually says in the next verse also, but we're not able to see. The endeavoring transcendentalist who is situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to. Here the word is endeavoring transcendentalist. Even a transcendentalist, a person who is endeavoring to be a transcendentalist, they will also have different vision. Not all people who are endeavoring for transcendence will be able to see. Not all. Only the person who is situated in self-realization can see. But if the person is trying to be a transcendentalist to become a Brahmajyoti, or to become very knowledgeable, or to acquire 8 yogic siddhis, won't be able to see. Though they are trying to, but they won't be able to see. That is why Krishna says in 4th chapter, approach what kind of person? That vidhi, who knows the verse?
Tadvidi pranipadena.
Pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam gnanastattvadarshana.
Yeah, so he's asking us to approach what kind of person? Tattvadarshi. What is a Tattvadarshi? So tired, huh? What's Tattvadarshi?
A self-realized soul, Mataji.
What does Tattva mean?
The truth, Mataji.
That is Sat.
Tattva is truth. So what is Tattva? Why is Krishna not using the word Sattvadarshi? Why is he saying Tattvadarshi? Because Sattva also means truth.
Tattva is
jab
the
hum-
fact.
Huh?
Tattva is the fact.
Fact.
Yeah, Sattva is the truth. Tattva, Om Tat Sat. Tattva
Mm.
is the fact.
Little bit more. Little
You
more.
told us earlier. You told this earlier.
But the problem is that if we don't internalize and apply, then kappa, what is it? Ratte marte. Ratte marte. We won't understand. Well, why is he saying Tattvadarshi? Why not Sattvadarshi? This is because I'm trying to tell you that which transcendentalist will be able to see and which one will not be able to see. He's saying one who is Tattvadarshi will be able to see. He said that before in Bhagavad Gita. So I'm asking you, what is Tattvadarshi? Are sleeping. Indians are pakka sleeping. I mean, we are all Indian, but people in India are already dozed off. And Nikhil Prabhu will go for a sleep after the class. I know that. So what is it?
Yeah, you are Tattvadarshi, Mataji.
No, I am a little futuristic, but not Tattvadarshi. Okay, Tattva. Tattva means absolute truth. Absolute truth. Sattva means truth. It is true that today is what, February 8, 2025. Today is Ekadashi. It is true. Whatever time you are situated, it is true. But it is not absolute truth. This truth will become past. Because it's in the realm of past, present, and future. Absolute truth is, which is absolutely true. There is no past, present, future. Like Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is an absolute truth. So person who understands that is Tattvadarshi, who knows the absolute truth. So who will be able to clearly see the process of self-realization? Who is situated in Tattvadarshi, who is a Tattvadarshi. But others, transcendentalists, who are falling short of that vision, will not be able to see, though they may try to see. Okay, so those who are not trained in knowledge is in ignorance. What is the cure? Krishna says, those who are trained can see all this clearly because their minds are clarified by yoga practice and situated in self-realization. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what they are trying, what is taking place, though they may try to. So bhakti yogis can actually see because they have self-realized, they have seen who is Krishna, they know what is this world, and they can see the things as they are. You see, like doctor, hai na? Ambika Mataji, you're a doctor, hai na? So at the hospital, you see one night, sometimes you see the birth, you see the death, you see the old age, you see the disease. Just one night, a 12-hour shift, you can see all this. But then we don't become Tattvadarshi just by becoming a doctor, do we?
No, Mataji.
You know, even though you may try to. Even though you may try to, even though you says, oh my God, this life is so horrible. Oh my God, this death was so painful. Oh my God, this birth was so traumatic. Oh my God, this person has aged so much. And now, man say, okay, I can actually stop all this by hitting the gym. Let me go there. So that's it. They will try to, but they're gonna fall short. So the solution is only to come Krishna conscious. Don't fall short. Everything else will fall short. Okay, I think we can meet next time and start as Krishna's position. So please go back to these verses and please read them again because they're very important verses as to how Krishna is saying that he's inviting us to his place, which is not under the jurisdiction of sun and moon. He is telling us that we are struggling. We are actually his eternal part and parcel. We're struggling because we are situating ourselves in the three modes of material nature and struggling. We're carrying the conception of life from one life to another life to another life, and it's not ending. And then he's saying that we are trying to see that this is a struggle and coming out and come out, but not able to. You're not able to do it. He says, you're not able to. Let me help you.